I ran 3 times, and you learn a lot. I think it's what pissed me off so much and how I fell into kind of radio and podcasting because I got so aggravated about the system. And what Tim's saying is right. I mean, people who have very mercenary, me first kind of power hungry attitudes do very well. I'll never forget being in a Capitol Hill club and I'm running, and it's the first time like my first Senate race, nobody took us seriously. We won the primary by like some act of God. Like I ran for Senate the first time out of the chute. We won the Republican primary. It was like the weirdest thing against 10 people and we, by a sliver. But the second time it was kind of serious. Like people thought, gosh, this guy can, because we wound up raising like a good chunk of money. But I'm in the Capitol Hill club and I'm with this, I don't know, some group or something like that. And it was a strange thing. They sent out a questionnaire before you meet with them. And the long and short of it, it's about a patent thing, like first to file versus first to invent, like something so esoteric, like only really like a limited number of people care about it. And I had a very specific stance on it because it mattered to me. Like I researched and did the homework on all the issues. And I'll never forget them like almost kind of implying like, hey, if you say the opposite, and I thought, how many people probably just told them yes for a cheap campaign donation because they don't care. Like no one's even going to notice. And I remember walking out. I'm trying to like virtue signal anyone. I mean, I'm a sinner, but I like anyone else. But I wasn't doing that, like, because I knew once you sold a little bit of your skin, the pound of flesh was next. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. And I walked out and I was like, nah, man, like that's my position. I appreciate you meeting with me. I hope you'll reconsider later on, but I'm not doing squat. I'm not selling out anything. And then when I ran, we were in the general, against this guy in this congressional district, Delaney, who's since left. He ran for president and left. They have this Trone cat now. But, I remember everyone telling me, oh, listen, you need to moderate. You need to moderate. It's a D+6 district. No Republican's going to win as a conservative. If you just like don't mention abortion or anything like that. And I got to tell you, man, this is why I think focus groups and politics are full of bullshitters now, because everything they told me was fake. I never changed the damn thing. We lost by 1 point. Everyone else who ran lost by 15. So I don't believe any of that. I was sitting in a group after Mitt Romney lost to Obama down in D.C. This group I was a part of, his Groundswell group, which was good people. And it was just like this focus group guy in there. And he's like, don't ever mention immigration again. We're never going to win. These guys are so stupid. Trump literally runs on build the wall and wins Pennsylvania for the first time ever. That's why I just... Good candidates find a way to overcome with good messaging. If you can stick it on a damn Wheaties box and explain it to someone, you can win. The problem is, like Tim said, you get so many mercenary jerks. They're just terrible messengers. They're just really bad. And that's why I think the Republican Party, without the defense of the media, we just continue to lose.
I think good people don't want to do bad things to win. Like you were saying, you don't want to compromise your values. How do you win against someone? You're playing a game of Monopoly. I'll put it this way. And the guy you're playing against keeps pulling money out of the bank and sticking it in his pocket. And you're like, hey, you can't do that. And he's like, no, it's fine. How do you win against somebody when they're just like, I'm going to keep doing it no matter what you do?
You're actually playing against the people that are drawing the board on the table. And like, how do you win when someone can just rewrite the complete structure of the board itself? Like Kennedy tried, John Kennedy.
Yeah.
He said out loud, I'm going to change the structure of the board, you guys. And they're like, no, we're going to rewrite the board so that you're dead, John.
You got an establishment, Democrats and Republicans, and they work together. They do not like actual politicians. So what I end up seeing is you get a Trump. And why do people like Trump so much is because he's finally somebody who he's talked a long time about running and saying he wouldn't do it. Remember that interview back in the day with, I think it was Oprah. And he's like, I wouldn't run, but if I did, here are the things that I would focus on. And he finally decides he is going to run. And it feels like, I think to a lot of people, it's the first time someone who should run is actually running. Despite his crass personality, he's a guy who is not supposed to be the politician. The politicians all wear the same suits. They all talk the same way. They all pander to the same in the same ways. Hillary Clinton shows up in whatever state with a fake Southern accent. AOC shows up to a rally and does a fake Puerto Rican Latina thing.
Listen.
Yep. It's fake. Yeah. And then you get a Trump, and sure, he might be rude, but people kind of feel like we keep asking for people to run for office who are real people who actually care, and they don't want to do it. Why would you? It's torture. Fighting that machine.
In this environment, the system isn't built right at the moment. With all this technology, that we still have to like mail pieces of paper across the world and hope that it lands in a box and gets counted, and that they're just going to tell us the answer, and we have to believe they're what they tell. Like that's 1870 technology, and why would I want to be part of a system that is malfunctioning?
100% disagree with you.
You're totally
Where you're
wrong.
going.
Totally wrong, Ian. I got to tell you, back in the day, there were much less people, and there were physical ballots that could be checked with tons of people standing around staring. Now it's all code behind the scenes you can't see.
Well, you should be able to see the code.
Right. So
Yeah, but
so
who can understand it?
I'm actually arguing your own point with your own point. We've long talked about how the problem is proprietary, private election systems instead of publicly controlled open source ones. So, but the point I was getting to is not to open up the box of worms on do we trust certain companies. My point is simply the quality of candidate is very, very low.
I
It's
think
been
that
improving.
the people that are leading the world are in the private sector right now. Like politicians do have some sway over the military. Unfortunately or unfortunately, okay. But really the people that are in control of Earth are the people that own Google or that Elon Musk, people that are very, very wealthy. They own the oil. You know, they're you don't know their names sometimes. So I think that the real quality leaders aren't drawn to politics. They're drawn to business.
Because business is more so meritocratic. So why is it that Dan Bongino and I both run these shows? I mean, you tried to run for office. Instead, you have one of the biggest shows in the world instead. I actually, fair
Worked
question.
out pretty good.
Let me ask you directly, like, how does it happen that you wanted to get in office, you wanted to make that change? Instead, you're doing something different in terms of making that change.
God loves him.
No, what I mean is you tried going the route of being a civic leader. Instead, you became an influential person.
Yeah, that happened by accident. I mean, I the whole story of me running for office is just crazy. Like I'm in my 12th year as an agent. I'm 13 years away from retirement, and the thing is, I'm done with the worst part of my career. The president's detail. You think, oh, everybody loves the president's detail. No, they hate it. They love going there because it's distinguished. Like, that's the thing. When you go to the Secret Service, we had like 5,000, 4,000 agents. A limited number of people ever get there. Everybody thinks everybody goes to the president's detail. It's actually a small number of guys. So if you get picked, it's like a big deal. So I finished. Like, I had done lead advances. I left at the top of my game. The rest of your career is pretty much, honestly, you relitigating what you did on the PPD, Presidential Protective Division. You reliving your glory days, It's like high school Harry telling that pass you threw in the fourth quarter to win the game. So I'm done. I'm in the Baltimore field office. Life is good. I'm investigating cases, which I love. I was a criminal investigator first, but I just love that stuff. And then, I saw Obama win, and obviously I'm getting ready to transfer to his detail because I'm on Bush's detail. And, it's weird for us, the Secret Service, because literally one night Bush walks out of the bedroom and the next night it's Obama. Like, nothing changes for you. It's the same post. And I had said to my wife about Obama, when I saw him give the speech at John Kerry's nomination, when John Kerry ran, remember he gave that speech, it was electric. I said, man, this guy's going to be big trouble, huge trouble. She remembers it to this day. And I knew the country was in some really deep shit. I knew we were in trouble bad. And I emailed this local Anne Arundel County. I lived in Anne Arundel County, Maryland. I emailed this guy, found him online. His name was Jerry Walker. I said, hey, Jerry, I'm just a guy, man. I saw this speech last night. The country's going to hell. I want to get involved. He emailed me back in like 20 minutes. It was like 11 o'clock at night. He said, there's a local Republican club near you called the Elephant Club. Just show up. And that's how the whole thing started. And then just a couple months later, I looked at my wife and I'd been bothering her. I said, I got to leave. I got to get out of here. Maybe 6 months later, I said, I got to go do something. I got to do something bigger than this, man. I can't just watch the country go to shit. I mean, I'm getting a paycheck. Government's bills are always cleared for me. Everyone else is getting, they're still dealing with the recession. And I felt like, man, this ain't right. Like I'm not like a citizen grifter here. Like, I know my job's important, keeping this cat alive in the White House, but I can't do this, man. So I said, I think I want to run for office. My wife thought I was nuts, man. She thought I was totally bananas. But to her credit, she's always willing to take a chance, man. She's like, all right, you know what? You want to run? We were at a Cinco de Mayo party in a cul-de-sac. I'm probably like 45 tequilas to the wind at that point. Who knows? And she looked at me and goes, you really going to want to do this, right? I said, yeah. She said, all right, do it. I resigned. I gave him 2 weeks notice and I left and I jumped in the U.S. Senate race. Everybody laughed. They said, look at this idiot. Who's this moron? I had nothing, no money. I had 5 emails a guy had given me for local reporters. We won that primary. It We raised $1.2 million.
Wow.
We won that primary.
There's still stickers with your name on it out here.
Yeah, that race was serious. That was the next one. The Senate race, we got annihilated. It was a 3-person race. We got crushed. The independent actually spent more money than all of us. He spent $7 million. He finished third. I finished second. Cardin won. But then we ran for re-election here. And that race was serious, man. A lot of people were like, dude, this guy's not screwing around, man. Like, we would show up at the Brunswick Parade. We had these yellow shirts. The pictures are still on my Instagram. We'd show up with 150 people for a congressional race, walking down the street in yellow T-shirts, and everyone was like, who the hell is this guy, man?
And for people who don't know, Brunswick is not very big.
No, it's not big at all. You look at the pictures, these thin streets, and it's hills all over. We came down, there's a picture of a yellow Prowler. This volunteer might have a yellow Prowler, and we had yellow shirts. It looks like an army invading Brunswick. I'm telling you, man, and you know what killed me in that race? We would have won that race. I got a job and a job offer. It was a pretty significant job offer because I was filling in on radio while I was running, which is like a major no-no because, it's equal time stuff. Yeah. How these candidates didn't catch on is like crazy. But we were tearing it up on radio. I get a job offer like a month out from the election. Maybe 2 months, whatever. About 2 months out. And I'm like, shit, what do? I can't drop out. And I'm like, we didn't think we were going to win. And I'm like, I made a commitment. I made a promise. But for like a week, I thought this thing through because it was like life-changing for me what was going to happen. And I did the right thing. I turned it down. But I swear in that week, if we just would have knocked on a few more doors, we would have won that race, man. I mean, it was devastating on election night. It was devastating. We won on election night.
Were the votes tallied on a machine with proprietary software code?
I don't know, man. But that Frederick City thing I told you about still freaks me out. That all those people voted who claimed they weren't citizens. I was like,
what was it about Obama that freaked you out on that first speech you heard?
Listen, man, it was kind of old school collectivism repackaged with a bow under the guise of like faux bravado citizenry. Like, oh, look at me. I'm so pro-America. I got this success story. What's your success story again? You're a community organizer. You're just to be clear, like that. But you get how it was packaged in liberty-oriented, capitalism-based ideas. Like, oh my gosh, I overcame I'm sorry. What did you overcome again? You were a community organizer. Like, what exactly did you do? But I saw the guy. I'll never forget where I was. I'm in the Shelbourne Hotel in Manhattan because I'm getting ready as a counter surveillance agent for the Republican National Convention, which was in New York, which was after that. So I'm watching him give this speech on TV. And I'm thinking of every corrupt, destructive, Marxist-based politician in human history. What have they had the gift of more than anything? It's the gift of the ability to expel carbon dioxide, man, and talk and convince people that this old bullshit idea they were packaging is new again. And I heard it. I heard it new again. I heard old school Marxist claptrap garbage packaged in a way that even I'm listening going, damn, that's good.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.